Hey everyone, Boom Shika here. I hope that you guys are doing awesome. It's 10:08 a.m. here on February 9th in Chiang Mai. I wanted to speak to you guys about the specific workshop that I did a couple of days ago. For the first time, I did it in Copenhagen over New Year's, I think on January 4th or 3rd, just before I was leaving. And then I did it a couple of days ago, and I just am enamored by it. It's been really, really life altering for me, I guess. And so I wanted to share it with you because I was speaking to a lot of people, and a lot of people don't know about it. And you know me, I'm always trying to share as much as possible with you guys. So this is called tension or trauma releasing exercise, which is TRE or TRE. And in it, what happens, or the basic tenet of it is this person who invented it, Michael Levine or Terry Levine, he realized when he went to war-torn countries or places where there are a lot of trauma, like Sudan or Iraq, or places where there are actually war scenes, basically war zones, he noticed that when the individuals, when there was bombings going on and they were, running into the bunkers and they were hiding, what happened is that he noticed that a lot of children were in these bunkers as well, and the children, while the bombings were going on, would shake uncontrollably. They were shaking, they were tremoring, they were moving around, they were shaking from an inner source, like they weren't doing it deliberately, they were shaking on their own unintentionally. So they were tremoring, basically, is what he called it, and they tremored uncontrollably while the bombings were going on, but after the bombing finished, they were fine. So they didn't seem distraught, they had released all their tension, and they were able to play as if nothing had happened, as if they weren't just in a trauma-inducing situation. Whereas the adults in the situation, they were really, really still, really rigid, and they weren't moving around a lot. They wanted to show that to their kids that they're strong and there's nothing to worry about. But after the bombings happened, they were really, really distraught. They were much more distraught than the kids were. They were really upset about the bombings, and they were having a hard time releasing all that trauma from their bodies. So he noticed, or he realized that tremoring or shaking uncontrollably in that manner that comes from the brainstem, from our primitive part of the brain, is actually a mechanism that a lot of species use in order to release tension. So, ducks will do it. They'll fight, they'll flap their wings, and after they fight, they'll flap their wings, they'll shake their bodies out, and they'll release all that tension and then move on about as if nothing happened. Dogs do that as well. They shake uncontrollably and they'll release all that tension and they're good to go. So we've seen that in several different species, and human beings did that as well in the past, I'm sure our ancestors did. But as we grow to become these modern human beings that are living in these societies, there's cultural norms to prevent us from shaking in public or doing all these things. We've stopped using this mechanism in order to release tension from our bodies. So we don't actually shake, we don't tremor, we don't release any of the tension, and we hold all of this tension inside of ourselves. So you probably heard of the iliopsoas muscle. It's the muscle in deep within our quads, and it's called the soul muscle. It's the one that holds all of the different tensions, all the emotions that we have in our body. And you guys already know this, our bodies are holding a lot of tension, a lot of emotions inside of us. But the iliopsoas muscle is the one that holds a lot of tension, and it's deep, deep within our quads. So it's really hard to get at. But the TRE exercises, what they do is they have a bunch of exercises that you do in order to exhaust your muscles, and then you lie down on the ground and then you tremor. Sometimes people tremor in the first time around, sometimes it takes them a little bit of time, but eventually everyone tremors. And you guys will notice after you tremor the first time around, at least for me what happened was that I released a lot of grief. A lot of grief was obviously situated in my body, and after I tremored, I laid down on the ground after, and I was in the fetal position, and tears came down from my eyes. My eyes cried, so I didn't actually feel any emotion inside of my heart. I wasn't sad, or my mind wasn't sad, like I wasn't feeling any emotions, but my eyes started tearing up and tears started falling down, which makes me realize that this grief that I was feeling, that I was releasing from my eyes, was not situated in my heart, but it was situated in my body. Because as soon as I released that tension, that grief, that sadness also released, which is really interesting to me because I had no idea that I was sad at that point. I was actually having a great time in Copenhagen, and I was really, really happy. And then day before yesterday, on Sunday, I went to another TRE session with Lori, and actually in Chiang Mai. So TRE is all over the world, so you guys can probably find practitioners trainers who actually can lead you through this. But in Chiang Mai, there's this place called Sote Wellness Haven. So if you guys are here, you can go there, and they'll direct you through it every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. And so I tremored and all that stuff, and then afterwards, I was talking to the people, and I said I felt a lot of shame. I felt really vulnerable, and a lot of shame come up for me after that tree exercise. So it's really interesting because you will actually have all these emotions that are coming out of you, but it's really weird because I never actually realized that these emotions are inside of me. Obviously, they are inside of me, but I did not realize that my body was storing these emotions in such a profound manner that when I do this exercise, it comes out in waves. It feels like I'm overwhelmed by these emotions. But normally, I'm walking around during the day and I'm completely fine. So I really want you guys to realize that just because you are happy, and just because I am happy and I'm, well self-actualized, well fulfilled and all that stuff, I'm walking around the world happy, doesn't mean that there's not a lot of stuff that's still stored in my body. Now, if I'm not affected by it, why do I want to release it? Well, the fact is, if it's in your body, it is obviously affecting you. You'll have tensions in your body, you're going to be inflexible because of it. I noticed that after I did the tray exercise, usually my butterfly poses in yoga, which is basically my inner thighs, are really, really, really tight, right? But after I did tray, my inner thighs are really loose because all that tension that I was storing up there, the shame, the grief, the sadness, it all released. And once that tension released, those emotions were released, my muscles relaxed. And they're just so much more relaxed now. I actually do the butterfly poses and right now it feels completely different. But I've been doing butterfly poses for years now, and it still was the same because I hadn't released that inner source of tension. That tension that was buried deep inside of me, deep inside my iliopsoas muscle, that was, integrated into it almost. Once I released it through the tray exercises, it felt like a completely different kind of release. It wasn't similar to the yin yoga exercises I do, or the yoga that I do regularly, or the meditations I do regularly, or the journaling. It was a completely different exercise. The reason I actually started really, really getting into tray is because I find that because I'm an analytical person, because I think a lot, because I'm always analyzing, always thinking, always calculating, I spend a lot of time in my head. And a lot of people are asking me, you should go to Vipassana meditation, or you should do an ayahuasca ceremony, blah, 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 blah. But all of those ceremonies are all about living in the head. And I'm already spending way too much time in my head. Way, way too much time, right? I want to spend less time in my head, and I want to spend more time in my body because a lot of my intelligence, in general, our intelligence, is stored in our bodies. It's stored in our gut. It's stored in our legs. It's stored in our feet. And we are so disconnected with our bodies that we don't actually realize that there's so much intelligence in our bodies. And we ignore it mostly. When you have this feeling where your gut is telling you something, you usually ignore it. If your stomach feels iffy or around this person, or your heart feels off when you're around this individual, you just ignore it. You're like, I'm just being melodramatic or something. No, it's actually your body telling you either this person's energy isn't right for you and you shouldn't be around them, or they're a negative individual and they're going to bring you down, or things like that. Your body is telling you things that we usually don't listen to. And so what I've been doing really is trying to move into my body rather than spending so much time in my head. And I've been dancing every single day, so I just put some music on for 5-10 minutes and I'll just move, I'll dance. So I'm really feeling my body. Obviously, I do the yoga, which is a lot of physical practice, but I've been doing tray. And after a couple of practices with a trainer, you can actually do it on your own. And I did the practice on my own yesterday. And I only did it for 10 minutes because I just want to try it out. And it was so weird how I was able to tremor on my own. And afterwards, I released a lot of tiredness. I was exhausted. I went to sleep in the afternoon for a couple hours, and I was still able to go to sleep at 10 p.m. So it's actually interesting how much exhaustion, how much tiredness you're probably storing in your body without realizing it, right? So it helped me release that. Again, this is important stuff, guys, because a lot of times we're moving through the world unconsciously, automatically, without realizing that there's stuff going on inside of us that we're unaware of. We really, really need to do all these exercises in order to become aware of what is going on inside of our bodies, inside of our subconscious, inside of all the different things that we're totally unaware of. One of the stats I read today was that the subconscious, the unconscious mind, processes about 11 million bits of information every second or every minute, but the conscious mind processes only 40, right? So that's an insane amount of information that your unconscious is processing on a daily basis, whereas your conscious mind can really only hold a couple of thoughts at a time, right? So we really, really need to be connecting with our unconscious and realizing what's going on in our unconscious mind, our unconscious body. You know, working with our dreams, figuring out what your dreams are trying to tell you, what your unconscious is basically telling you through your dreams, figuring out what your body is telling you through all these different exercises, yoga, tray, meditation perhaps, moving meditation, walking meditation, dancing meditation, dance mandala, ecstatic dance, things like that. There's so many tools out there, but they don't work by just talking about it. You know, you gotta go and try them out. So please, if you guys have a tray practitioner around you guys, find one. You can just go online and Google it, and it's TRE, Tension Trauma Releasing Exercise. If you Google it, just find a practitioner and go try it out once. I absolutely recommend it. It has been life-altering for me. It's actually really changed some of the synaptic connections in my brain, so I really, really do recommend it for you guys. Again, if you guys find this video useful, please share it with your friends or invite your friends into the group. If not, I'll talk to you guys the next time around. Bye for now.